Hey, what's going on? Keith here from Sports Vibes TV, joined as always by my co-host Stephen Fox. Foxy man, how's everything with you?
Could be better, but just shout out to you, shout out to the chat, shout out to the SV Nation. Looking forward to chopping it up, talking about today's game. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing as good as can be, especially after that 108-101 loss at the hands of the Miami Heat. Uh, Definitely some rain on my parade. Pretty much, exactly what's going on outside right now is how I'm feeling inside. But I still got some confidence in this team. I feel like we can turn it around. But we'll be on here talking about the game, give you some of our thoughts about what happened, and we're also going to talk about what some of the things the Knicks could do to try and turn things around. So, Foxy, thank you for co-hosting as always. What were some of the things you saw in that game that you are a little bit concerned about?
Well, you and I talked about it. We saw it in the Cleveland games. We shot 28% from three in Cleveland. So I think you, me, and the SV Nation, we saw this from a mile away. You can't shoot, especially in the playoffs. We shot 20% from three, 60% from the foul line, 15 turnovers. It was just 13. It was just really really ugly, man. And Julius, I hope he gets back as soon as possible.
Yeah, this definitely showed how much we need Julius Randle. I know you look at what we were able to do against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but in this series against the Miami Heat, it's a completely different team. And, we are big fans of the fight game. You know how it is. Matchups make fights. And this one is going to be a lot more difficult for us to win without Julius Randle clicking. Julius Randle, when he was out there during the regular season, he played very well against the Miami Heat. And once the Heat started to make some adjustments in that second half and tried to force, Jalen Brunson to give the ball up and have somebody else make a play, you really saw how much we struggled not having, that second option next to Jalen Brunson. So you mentioned Randall. Hopefully he's able to, get healthy. We know what the stats are when a team loses game one on their home court. I believe they end up losing what 70% of the
I
time.
think I think it's when I believe you're right.
Yeah,
So it's in that vicinity. Ashley Wiz last week gave us the exact one, but it's in that vicinity. Yeah. So math doesn't look good.
doesn't look good. So I have the box score up on screen. You can see Julius Randle's replacement, Obi Toppin. He was 7 of 15 from the field, 4 of 11 from the 3-point line. That's good for 18 points, 8 rebounds. But I think the big storyline behind Obi in this game is the fact that he only played a little bit under 2.5 minutes for the Knicks in that deciding fourth quarter. So, Foxy, I asked you, did you have any issues with the way Obi Toppin was used in terms of his minutes in this game? And do you feel like he should have been out there a little bit more in that fourth quarter?
He had 8 rebounds for the game, but five in the first quarter. So he and on those leak outs by the Heat with those long passes from Love, I think he was guilty on a couple of them. So I think we've talked about it from day one that defensive assignments get you minutes. Playing good defense in Tibbs' eyes. So I think he may have thought he had a better chance with other people doing the right thing on defense, but nobody played. Hey, we came back from a miserable loss in Game 2 against the Cavaliers. We lost 108, 101 shooting like shit from three. And throw it on IQ's back too, man. He's been invisible not only in the Cleveland series, but he's not taking enough shots. He just looks like a different player. We did shows on him. Should thinking that he should be the sixth man of the year, not runner up, but he's playing nowhere near that, and it bothers me because Lowry cooked him. Is one thing your shot's not going in, but as Tibbs always preaches, do other things in the game. So he didn't have lockdown defense. He keeps picking his freaking dribble up. He just looks like a different player. I don't know what the hell happened to the IQ that we were all excited about.
Yeah, Manuel quickly 3 of 9 in this game, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line. That's good for 9 points. Had 2 rebounds. Also had 1 turnover. He really has struggled so far in the playoffs, and it's been shocking because towards the end of the season, we really started to feel like Emmanuel quickly was finding himself, starting to figure things out offensively after struggling in the first half. But now, with his shot not falling, it's really become, a detriment to this team offensively, especially when you see how teams are going to start trying to get the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands. The way they were able to collapse, I'm talking about the Heat, the way they were able to collapse their defense and force Jalen Brunson to give the ball up. He has to rely on his teammates to knock down those threes. And Emmanuel quickly, he's one of those guys that you expect to be a knockdown 3-point shooter along with Quentin Grimes. And, if he's not giving you that punch offensively, then, it's going to be something that you have to look at when it comes to negotiating his contract and signing that extension. Because we thought we were going to have to pay him some maxi type money, but he's not giving us maxi type production in this postseason so far. So he's gonna have to step it up. And the defense, like you said, in previous games, previous series, it was at least something that you could say, all right, he can put his cap down on that because he's playing solid defense. But the defense in this game was a little bit spotty. So definitely something that you have to keep an eye on. Hopefully he can rebound. What's troubling to me is the fact that he's been struggling, and this was a game at home. You expected him to be able to play well at home. That's what you look for your role players to do, to be able to step up at home. And, you understand they may struggle away. But for him to struggle like this, I think is unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's not two twin towers like against the Cavs that if the 3 points not going to get to the hole, you show that during the season, and he looks so hesitant, and also bothers me. Hey, everybody and their mother knew that they were going to throw zones, pack the paint, and make us shoot. So we should have came in there really, really prepared, knowing that this was going to happen. Should not have been shocking. What would no way, no how, and doubling when they can on Brunson. There's no Randle now, so we should have known what they were going to throw at us, but couldn't buy a damn. And like hey, the bottom line is, they made 13 threes. We made 7. They had 11 more made field goals, foul shots. The game's over there, man. It's that simple. I don't know why they call it free for a reason. I don't know how you can miss foul shot after foul shot after foul shot.
Yeah, they're definitely something that they have to work on. And another issue I didn't like is how many points we were giving up off of turnovers. Turning the ball over at a high clip. And in that second half, the Heat had 14 points off of turnovers, and I think that's an area that definitely killed us. And with the adjustments that they made it more difficult for us to try to score in the paint. I believe we had 40 points in the paint in that first half, and we only had
22 the rest of the game.
22 the rest of the game. And pretty much, once you were able to stop us from getting into the paint and scoring that way, we really proved to them that we don't have the shooters to really knock down those open looks. So that's something that Tibbs is going to have to look and see if we can. I mean, honestly, what is there for Tibbs to do really to get these guys to knock down open shots? Because it's not like
on Tibbs. It's on the players, man. It comes a point where you could say this on rotations, but they had a lot of good looks and Jesus, air balls, not close.
Yeah.
It's
like, had a couple.
Tell me about it. And it's like, hey, another stat that you're not going to win in the playoffs: 7 points in the last 5 minutes. That's crunch time. There's a reason why they call it. That's when you come up big. 7 points in the last 5 minutes in a close game. Yeah, you're going to lose it every time.
And then not being able to capitalize when a guy like Jimmy Butler gets hurt, that's supposed to be demoralizing for a team like the Heat. I mean, you saw, if you look at the broadcast, you saw how Eric Spoelstra handled the news. He was on camera cursing because, that's pretty much the engine of their squad. So for him to be hampered for the last few minutes of the game and for us to not really take advantage, I think that was a missed opportunity, because if you're able to win that game, now you're going into a game 2 with Jimmy Butler, who's going to be hampered by that injury, and hopefully the return of a guy like Julius Randle. And I think that would have been a much better position for us to be in, as opposed to now, similar to the Cavs series, where all the pressure was now pushed onto the Cavs, who, give them credit, they showed up in game 2. It'll now be on the Knicks to show up in game 2 and show that, they can, knock down those open shots and compete.
They better show up in game 2, or this could be a sweep. For Miami.
Don't say that, Foxy. I don't
Hey
want to
man,
hear
yo,
that.
I'm telling you that they better bring it, and they just better bring it, and also Mitch for the umpteenth freaking time he's walking around like the his hip is bothering him. He mentioned after the game, every time he's hurt. You just you blow hard on Mitch. The son of a bitch is always hurt. So he has monster games. You're excited. Hey, he's not going against 7-footers on this team. Dominate. And it's like, I know he had 14 rebounds, but in crunch time, it feels like it's always the damn ball. Lowry knocking that ball out of his hands, and then Gabe Vincent resulting in a freaking three when I thought we were going to get that possession. Other plays during the game, his freaking hands, his Nerlens Noel. I said it all year, folks, all season. I would have never signed Mitchell Robinson to the contract that he got. And he just can't stay healthy. And so I just don't know what we have in him. And like I said, our hope is that we get back Julius.
Yeah, I don't have
and
too much.
and IQ shows up.
I don't have too much of a beef with Mitchell other than him knocking his free throws. I think if you watch how tentative those guys were when they were attacking the paint, it really shows the value of a guy like Mitch. So I know there are some issues. He is always diving on the floor and coming up looking as if he's hurt, and it's tough as a fan.
It's exhausting.
I understand that, but also you have to look at the way he played in that first series. He's arguably the MVP. So,
Monster.
like I said, depending on the matchup, it's gonna change who has to step up for this squad. So yeah, Mitch has to be a big piece in why we win. But now in this matchup, he may be a little bit more difficult for him because Bam now is somebody that is not gonna always be back to the basket. He can face up and put the
Dribbles
ball
up
on
the
the
court.
floor. He can knock down 18, 19-foot jump shots. So it's gonna be a little bit different for Mitch. He'll be pulled out of the paint more often than he was against the Cavs. So I understand if he's not going to be as big of a factor, similar to the way he was in that Cavs series. But I still think he's going to be someone that we need to continue to be that imposing force in the middle and our defensive anchor. So I'm not too concerned about Mitch at this point.
Yeah, and I was hoping Hartenstein played a few more minutes. He only played 14,
Yeah, about
14
14 minutes.
minutes. Yeah, 14 and change. That
And he was a +6 too.
yeah, and Mitch was a negative 13. so that's just illustrates, like I said, I know he had the 14 bounds and stuff, but hey, but also RJ started off Star J, that first quarter.
Yeah, he got it going quick.
And but his foul shooting, and then in the fourth quarter, man, we made between RJ and IQ, we made Cal Lowry. We gave him like the fountain of youth. Come on, man. When it counts, we need. Randle's not here. RJ, you have the opportunity to, just you were a hero in the first quarter and a zero in the fourth quarter. That's you have that opportunity to show everybody that you're the man, and that's the fourth quarter is when you make your name, man, especially in crunch time. And you can't have how many possessions did he have that ball stripped from him?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Four turnovers, yeah. Only exceeded by Brunson's 5.
5, yeah. But you do have to like the start that RJ had. He was attacking some of the.
I said that. Yeah, he was a hero in that first quarter, man.
And
getting Mitch on on a lob and everything.
Yeah, in the first half, he was 6 or 7 from the field. That's good enough for 13 points. Had 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and only 1 turnover. So in the first half, you saw all of the the best parts of RJ, him being aggressive, and also him being a playmaker and finding his guys open for easy looks. And in that second half, once they made that adjustment and started to pack the paint, that's when you really saw him start to revert back to that old RJ that we've kind
make
of
him shoot. How to beat how to have RJ not play if just make him shoot.
Yeah, but hopefully he'll he's trending in the right direction. He had a few monster games against the Cavs, and he had a phenomenal first half to start. So he'll figure it out. I think at this point now, what the Knicks have to do, they have to go to the lab, put the film on, and they got to see what the Heat were doing in that second half that was really able to neutralize us. It was pretty much, last half of the third and the entirety of the fourth, they were really able to make life extremely difficult for us. So now, it's on Tibbs to make these adjustments. And Spo, he's a hell of a coach. So after halftime, he was able to make his adjustments. Tibbs really didn't try anything new, I would say, in that second half. We kind of was doing the same old, same old. It'll be imperative for him now or it's imperative for him to, make some adjustments and counter what the Heat are doing to us in order to kind of, make Brunson not feel as comfortable with the ball in his hands as we saw him in the Cavs series. In the Cavs series, we felt like we can get to our spots at will. And in this one, it's the Heat pretty much making it much more difficult for us to do that.
Well, Brunson, if they had looks, they just couldn't hit him. So Tibbs and you and I, but I'll talk about me, have come down hard on Tibbs and stuff. But it comes a point where he don't play on the court, the guys do, and I don't know what rotate. Unless you bring in Fournier, I don't know what you can do to get the guys on the floor to get their shots
and
to go down.
I don't want to see Fournier, bro. I know we need some 3-point shooting, but Fournier is not the one.
But it also shows that Tibbs is a really smart player, coach. The first lineup said the first game or preseason, me, and everyone's like, he has Fournier? Are you kidding me? Yeah, because he knows the team can't shoot. He said, I got to have a 3-pointer in there. And you and I goofed around. It was like, is that another way of saying the other guys can't shoot that you're playing Fournier? He's been right. We've been dismal all year from 3, and we got away with it. But playoffs are a whole different thing.
But even in that regard, saying that we need a shooter, why didn't we play Quentin Grimes more? Because Grimes is that shooter.
Totally.
And maybe
what,
he
11
might be
minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes, 10 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
So maybe he was on a minute restriction, but 10 minutes seems pretty low for a minute restriction, especially for a guy that's not really high usage or anything like that. But if we need some more shooting, I think Quentin Grimes should have got more minutes out there. He's someone that has showcased he's able to knock down threes, especially in some key moments. The only thing I'm concerned is if he hurt his right shoulder, right? And that's on his shooting arm. So I don't know if he's healthy enough to start jacking up a bunch of threes. You would hope.
You'll never know after only 3, though. Only 3 attempts. So let us.
And when
find out.
When he knocked the first one down, I was like, "All right, let's go. We got Grimes back in here." But we really didn't see much else after that.
Yeah, it was the same way. Like cool. But it reverted back to what we saw during the season. Man, we need consistency from these guys, and I know they're young. It's part of the development process. But come on.
Yeah, well, they're putting their feet in the fire now. So, worst case scenario, this will be a playoff experience they can learn from. But I really think that they'll be able to turn it around in game 2.
Randle's playing the next game.
Oh, he's definitely playing. You can't go.
Did you see him in the shoot around?
Yeah, he was dribbling.
If he looked that okay in shoot around, then the only thing that pissed me off was freaking Milwaukee. If Milwaukee didn't choke and beat Miami, we wouldn't have, I think, played till Tuesday, which would have gave Randle a few extra days for therapy to get that ankle right. So freaking Milwaukee, you killed me, man. I was like, good, get Randle healthy. A couple extra days mean everything. But you couldn't do it, and he's a warrior. So if he's not going, he was all braced up and everything. I mean, because your background and stuff, they just know that it's such, you can re-injure a sprained ankle so fast. Yep. It's not funny that unless you get it to a certain point of healing, you're just looking, it's a walking time bomb for that thing turning again.
Yeah, because you're still compromised. So any, landing at the wrong angle, it'll force that ankle to turn. So.
Yeah,
and it's something that both teams are going to have to worry about now too, is with Jimmy Butler, him going down.
Yeah, I read an article from the surgeon that did the ankle surgery on Stephen Curry a few years ago,
Hmm.
and he talked about a lot of players on sprains that you really have to brace that ankle up, but a lot of players don't like it because it really impacts their mobility. And so, but if you don't do it, then he said the chances of re-injury is off the chart.
Not only that, if you go too far and try to support the ankle, with certain movements, a piece of the body is gonna give. So if you don't give the ankle that leeway to give, the next joint
Great point.
that's gonna be able to give you a little bit of give.
Achilles, calves,
Not
things.
even your knee, because
Yeah,
think
the
about
knee.
it. If your ankle makes that lateral movement and it's no longer allowed to, just your knee is gonna be the next area
The next
that's gonna
area of
be it's
stress
gonna be
is the
stressed
knee.
out. Yeah, so that's another thing you have to keep in mind. When you have a compromised ankle, you don't want to go too crazy with the bracing.
Yeah. But like I said, you have it up there 108, 101. As crazy as it sounds, that's something to build on. That we were only a few threes away and a few foul shots away from being in this game or even potentially winning it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really look at the Knicks in this entire playoffs and say we've had like a real marquee game where we've had everything clicking and we've been firing on all
Not a
cylinders.
one.
Not a single game. I don't think there's a game where we shot over 31, 32% from three,
Not
right?
Yeah, exactly. I think 30 was the highest or something like that.
Yeah, so the fact that we're even in this position, I think, is a blessing. Now we just have to capitalize. We've got to knock down on these opportunities. The Heat, I think, this entire series, they're going to give us that 3-point shot, and they're going to dare us to beat them. The same thing we did with Okoro last series. We dared him to beat him. He was unable to do it. But the thing is, we've got statistically better 3-point shooters than Okoro. Quick should be a much better 3-point shooter than we've seen recently. Grimes should be a much better 3-point shooter. Josh Hart, even though
RJ.
he has his struggles, RJ had 1 year when he was a real good 3-point shooter, but for the most part, he's been, I would say, below average as a
Yeah,
3-point shooter.
but I didn't think he was going to be. I'm with you, but 30% or so. I didn't think he was going to be that bad of a 3-point shooter, man.
Yeah, especially without developing a mid-range game. You can understand the poor 3-point shooting if he had a mid-range game that he could rely on, but to have neither nor, I think, is unfortunate. But he's still figuring out ways to be effective offensively.
He is.
Let's see what we got going on in chat. Dirty Dancer, thank you for Dirty Dancer. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the support. Keith Turner says Grimes stinks for real and he's not a starter. I don't know. He hasn't really, I don't think, been given the opportunity to showcase his full skill set. When he's healthy and in the lineup, they don't really feature him enough. And, in games like this, he doesn't really get enough playing time. Foxy, what say you?
I think he's a solid player. I don't know as a starter. There's a reason why he was picked 25th, but he could shoot the three and he plays good, solid defense. But we'll find out real quick in the next year or so, especially next season, if he can bring a midi. He showed this year's definitely development where, strong closeouts, him attacking the basket. I wish he'd go to the basket more, have a pull up. But yeah, I'm happy with Grimes, but we started the season with concerns about his knee, and then it's just consistency. But it's the aggravation where you, me, and everybody else are just saying it's very difficult for any play. It's a rhythm game. He just doesn't get enough touches. They get into rhythm. 3 touches, 4 touches, and then you see him break out, and then the next game 4 touches, 5 touches. In the last few games, he had 9 shots today, IQ, but he hasn't had a lot of touches, and he's got to get up more shots, but better shots, smart shots. A couple of the shots that he's taken, IQ, and you're like, that was really poor shot selection, man.
Even the one he made off the bank, that wasn't a great shot. He got lucky on that one.
Yeah, I know. He put his hands up, and I'm like saying, "Yo, man, you didn't call that. Get the hell out! Get the hell out of here, man."
You got real lucky on that one.
But sometimes you get lucky. You need luck to get you out of a slump. But but like we said, he was great this year. Getting instead of that floater from 2 years ago, he came up with a nice little pull up in the paint. he seems intimidated all of a sudden. Where that, and like I said, picking up his dribbles. Like, what are you doing? Come on.
Yeah, we're not seeing that confident version of Emmanuel quickly that we saw in that second half of the season. And when he's tentative like that, he's just not nearly as effective. I think the same could be said when we have Julius Randle out there. When those two are like tentative, their game really sees a massive drop off.
Hey, the last game, Julius before the injury, he was attacking that rim. And it was like, that's what we need from Julius. Don't dribble and all of a sudden get into the paint. And then that first fake, then that second fake, and then all of a sudden he loses his confidence and kicks it out. And whomever he kicks it out to has 4 seconds left on the shot clock, which doesn't, when he doesn't do that, just get to the hole, and you're a beast. Worst case scenario, you'll get to the foul line, but attack that basket. And with him out there, it's like, yo. Quick shout out, JJ Miami going to continue to give us open threes and clog the paint. Got to knock them down. Yep. Facts. Danette and Anthony, hope all is well, my friends. Hey, guys, hopefully we get a clunker out of our system with you. Hopefully, I use the analogy, Anthony, that we had a clunker in game 2 against Cleveland, and hopefully we get it out of our system. You don't want clunkers on your home court.
True. But especially to start the series.
Especially to start the series.
Yep. Let's see. Keith Turner says if we don't get Julius Randle back, we're getting swept. I wouldn't say that. I think we were in a good position earlier on in the game without Julius Randle, and we just didn't make the proper adjustments in the second half. I think this team could win the series without Julius Randle. We would just have to start, knocking down those open looks. I think.
And foul shots.
and foul shots. If you look at the shots that the Knicks were able to generate, a lot of those were good, open, uncontested threes. And, if the guys out there on the court were hitting those threes closer to their averages, I think we win this game. But unfortunately, that's not the way the cookie crumbled, and we ended up taking an L. Now, moving forward, yes, it would be in our best interest to get Julius Randle back because it would make us that much more dynamic offensively. But even if Julius Randle were to miss a game, I think we could go in there. We could, win game 2 if we continue. We could have won this game. Yeah, we continue to defend and just knock down the open shots that the Heat are going to force us to take. They're going to force guys like Josh Hart to take open threes, and you can live with that because at one point Josh Hart was shooting a 3-point shot at close to 60% clip. Now, is that sustainable? Not necessarily, but if he's shooting more than 35, 36%, you'll take those open threes from the Heat all day.
Yeah, I think the problem with him today, as crazy as it sounds, is he was so open, he aimed the shot.
Yeah.
A lot of the other times, he just got the ball in rhythm, put it up. Didn't think about it, just left it to the muscle memory. But when you aim, you're in a lot of trouble in this league. You can't do that. So, I think we're going to, thank God for Brunson. As always, he's a class act. He said it's all on him, and that's what great players and teammates do. Unlike idiots like John Morant. Did you see that?
What did he do this time, Foxy?
They're losing, and he's laughing. Ja's laughing and and smiling on a bench when his team is getting eliminated.
Well, they got to put the front on for the social media. You know how that goes.
They
got to look unbothered, quote unquote.
Screw this social media, man. Hey, I've always been a guy saying whatever. If losing doesn't hurt you, then you're not the guy I want on my team. When you have a player where losing hurts, I love that. That's my type of player because you play to win. What Herm say, Edwards? So if you're cool enough to be losing and going home, especially after the weird season that you had, and you're goofing around on your bench like that. You saw Dylan Brooks make a comment like, "I won't be back next year." Like if this is the team and stuff like that. So,
but Dylan Brooks is the one that poked the bear.
I know that.
He's the one they got to thank for that.
But that's what dogs do, though. Dogs do that, and but that's why with Brunson, his attitude, even with the 5 turnovers, he still was making shots. He still scored 25 with 7 assists. But with Josh Hart and everything else, I definitely think I think we'll win the next game personally.
Yeah, speaking on Jalen Brunson, if we're gonna beat Miami, let's say Julius Randle isn't able to go right in game two, and we got to go out there with the same squad we went out with today. We need Jalen Brunson to be the efficient Jalen Brunson. What did he shoot? Under 50% from the field in today's game. We need a Jalen Brunson that's shooting over 50% and doesn't have the uncharacteristic 5 turnovers if we're gonna be in a position to win late in games. So if we don't have that Jalen Brunson from the start, it's going to be extremely difficult for us to end up with a W.
Well, again, he was a blink away from shooting 50% from the floor, overall. It's just the 0 from 7 from 3 is what killed us.
And the 5 turnovers.
But that's what happens when you're missing, your second best, or depending on who thinks about it, your best or second best player. And Julius, try to do too much yourself when the other guys are not clicking or not putting in, trying to do too much.
Yeah, I mean, some of them were kind of like boneheaded plays. I think one, he was trying to push the ball up the court, ended up throwing it behind RJ. So some of them he was, like you said, trying to do a little bit too much. And I think he'll be better in game 2, definitely.
Yeah, and I don't mean anything. I brought this up in previous streams, but this refereeing in this league is reaching an all-time low. It's like you should never have referees impact games. And, you're watching plays. Grimes was called for a foul. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? You saw RJ on several plays, like, put his hands up, like, what the hell? Just the refereeing all season, not just the playoffs. It's like, thank God for technology. We have this artificial intelligence. Maybe in the next 5 years, we should go to artificial intelligence to call fouls and get rid of, as long as you have a good software programmer. But these refs are the pits, man.
Yeah, I think this is actually the first game we really saw the refs start to get to this team as well. In that fourth quarter, you saw RJ. He was showing his frustration out there on the card. Brunson got a T. Josh Hart, he was visibly frustrated, and the calls at times were, I would say, uneven, in which they did in favor the Knicks. But for the most part, I still think in the playoffs you can't allow that to get you out of your game. So even if you feel like the calls aren't going in your favor, you can't be demonstrative out there on the court. You can't get technicals. Luckily, I believe Jimmy Butler shot the technical free throws. He missed that, so luckily it didn't really affect us negatively. But for the most part, you gotta keep your emotions under wraps and under control. Also, I see we got George in the chat. Salute to George. Thank you for tuning in, brother. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, hi George. Great recap, by the way, my friend.
Also, I want to put something on screen as well. This is Tom Thibodeau and his thoughts on the open threes that the Knicks were able to shoot or get, but unfortunately they missed. So let me just put it on screen real quick.
The game tells you what to do, so if you're open, you got to let it go. They're going to collapse, and we got to make the right reads. And that's it. The game tells you what to do,
So you heard it from Tibbs. I just
can't argue with what he said, though.
Mm-hmm. Game tells you what to do. So if you're open, you got to let it go. They go into collapse, and we have to make the right reads. That's it. So if they're guarding us in a similar manner next game, these guys are gonna have to hit their open threes. Excuse me. It seems like the Heat are completely open to allowing guys like Josh Hart, RJ, Emmanuel Quigley to get open threes, and are expecting them to miss. So it'll be on them now to, step up to the plate, knock down the three, and show that they are built for this moment. You're playing in New York. It's going to be difficult here. You got to knock down the tough shots.
And we're not asking for anything other than just shoot what you did during the season, man. It's like we're not asking you to shoot 45%. We're just asking you to perform at a league average. If you got 120 million, RJ, shoot 36% from three. That's all we're asking. Quickly, you want this contract? All we're asking is that you shoot at league average. But, just stinking it up like that. And also, like we said, shooting 28% in the Cavs series. This is, one thing is trend analysis is like saying we're 6 games in now and you know, we should be sooner or later. We should be the next level of us hit the shots going in from three. But if it's not, it's like we're just a shitty shooting team.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is we've been a poor 3-point shooting team all season, so it's not like this is just a little slump we're hoping that we'll break out of. This is us to do. This is us hoping to reach an inflection point where we start trending upwards with our 3-point shooting, and it can happen. We can get hot, quickly. Grimes towards the end of the season, they were both shooting close to 40%, if not more. And Josh Hart, he's been shooting around 50 to 60% from three since he's been here. So this team is capable of doing it. It's just in this spot, it's going to be the most difficult spot they've been in throughout this season. I just want to put on screen another interview. This is Josh Hart and his response assessing the Knicks play today.
Josh, what have you seen just, the first round against the Cavs as well as you guys played? You didn't shoot the three well, and you didn't shoot the three well at all today. Is there anything specifically you think you guys are taking the right ones?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're taking the right ones. We're just not making shots right now. That's the biggest thing. I mean, I think we did a hell of a job in terms of playing tough, playing physical. We didn't make shots, and we still gave ourselves a chance to win late in the fourth. So we know that. We're frustrated with that, but, that's something that we can change.
Josh, what have you seen just?
So again, you hear the same comments that you heard from Tibbs with Josh Hart. They're getting open looks. They just got to start knocking down their shots. And that's going to be the deciding factor of this series.
I don't know if your ears were ringing, but I said to my wife, she stopped by while I was watching the game. And I said, see that guy over there? He's a dog. And I was pointing at Josh and I said, he's the second best, and Jimmy Butler is the third best braids in the NBA. She goes, who has the best braids? And I went, Keith.
I'm trying, brother. I'm trying.
Nah, man, you styling all the time. I'm just stealing from you.
I hear you on that one. He did have a dope design on the other day.
He did.
What was it? The Yankee logo?
Yeah, man. And today was an intricate design also.
Yeah. He does have some dope designs. You got to put me on to his stylist, whoever does his braids.
And for $700, they'll definitely do your hair. I said to my wife,
I'll have to hit him with a thanks, but no thanks.
I said to my wife, it's really weird to think that there's a dude or two in this league that makes $200,000 a year. Just, these guys are making $20 million, so they don't mind spending a couple thousand, having somebody to fly in, pay everything, and just do them up. So I'm like, man, that's the great job.
Yeah. Keith Turner says Brunson played okay. He wasn't bad though. Facts. I don't want people to think that I think Brunson played poorly. I just think we need a certain level of play from Brunson if we're gonna win without Randle out there on the court. And we need the super efficient, low turnover version of Jalen Brunson if we're gonna be able to secure a victory with Randle out with that bad ankle injury.
Yeah. I see Westchester's finest, Sherwin, pulled up. Good evening. I told everyone the Knicks win in 5 with Randle and get swept without Randle. I think we're going to win the next game. Yeah.
Go ahead, Foxy.
I think we'll win the next game with or without Randle. I think it's as crazy as it sounds. We played a terrible thing, and it was only a 108-101. And we're now 36-5 when we hold teams under 110 points. So we play that same thing, hold them under 110 points. Brunson, forget about the other guys. Brunson will shoot better from three. I feel very confident. If he was 3 for 7, we won the game.
Yep. Yeah, that's uncharacteristic of Brunson to go 0-7 from 3. Even him, like you said, shooting that 3-7. If he knocks that down, the Knicks are in a much better spot, and we're singing a different tune. So I believe, the Knicks probably could win in 5 with Julius Randle, but I don't think it's as big of a swing where we get swept without him. Julius Randle, he does present a pretty interesting matchup for the Miami Heat, because when you do put in a guy like a Julius Randle, it now forces Bam to kind of step up and guard him, because you don't want to put Kevin Love on Randle. I don't think Love has the foot speed to stay in front of a guy like Julius Randle. So with Bam,
Yeah, that was exactly. Julius will light his butt up.
so with Bam guarding on him, now you're forcing Bam to play a little bit more defense out there on the perimeter, potentially get into foul trouble. You know how Julius Randle was good at drawing those fouls, and it really forces the Miami Heat to play us in a much different way. So I do think there is a massive swing if you bring a guy in like Julius Randle, with him being out due to injury, but I don't think it's as big of a swing as Knicks in 5 with him and us getting swept without him. I think we can definitely win a game or two. I think we could win the series without him. It's just going to take us playing damn near perfect basketball in order to accomplish it.
I'm with you.
Let's see what else we got going on in chat. Thank you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate the support. Johnson says, too many stupid threes, punished by Heat's quick twos. I don't know if we took a lot of bad threes per se. I just think we just didn't knock the ones that were given to us, we were open. I want to really look at the stats to see how many of the threes we took were where we didn't have a guard or we didn't have a defender within 3 feet. That'd be a real interesting stat that I can probably pull up, once the NBA.com.
Tomorrow, I was about to say NBA, unfortunately, is not updated until probably tonight on that type of stat.
Yeah, because there was one possession I remember where we put up a 3, bricked it. We were able to get the rebound, put up another 3, bricked it, and both of those threes were wide open. And so I don't know if he took stupid threes per se. And then the stupid 3 we did take was probably Quicks, and he made his.
Yeah, by luck.
Hey, it's playoff time, man. You take luck.
I'll take luck. Yeah, it's good to be lucky and lucky to be good.
Yes, sir. All right. Anybody else want to give a shout out to in chat?
Keith Turner, hope all is well with you and the family. Angel Torres, hope all is well. Hope your dad is back to his old self and is fully recovered from his ailment earlier this year.
All right, just want to put something else on screen now. This is some more from Josh Hart coming at you from SNY. Let me just put it up now.
I don't think anyone thought this game was going to be, or this series, was just going to be, won or loss in the first game. I don't think anyone thinks that. It was a tough team, obviously. Frustrated that we didn't shoot the ball well, and obviously, like we said, got out to that lead, and we didn't make shots. But like I said, we're going to continue to take and make the right shots, and that's what we're going to do. So I don't think there's an opportunity that we let slip away. You know what I mean? There's going to be a tough physical series, and every game's different.
I disagree, Josh. You let an opportunity slip away. There's no way Jimmy Butler gets hurt and we don't try to take advantage of that. They didn't attack him not once.
Merciless, man. Go at him if he's like that.
I saw something so uncharacteristic of Julius Randle. He came on the court, dapped him up like, yo, you good, bro? I'm like, what are you doing? He's an op. You're not supposed to dap him up. What's going on? Leave him alone. He'll be all right. We worry about your ankle, not his.
Yeah, today's athlete's different, man. I'm telling you, if Oakley was around, he would have smacked him. Like, what are you doing? What was it, last game or something? Somebody helped somebody up, and I went, oh boy, that would not have gone down with Mace, and it would not have gone down with Oakley. You don't do that, man. You want to say hi after the game, cool. During the game, he's your freaking enemy, man.
Yeah, I'm like, you worried about him. I'm like, you're a little too worried about him, bro. He'll be all right. Worry about your ankle. He'll be okay. I don't need you dapping him up saying, yo, you good? No, we don't care if he good. Worry about that. Even if you want to text him after the game. Don't do that on the court in front of everybody. Like, come on.
Facts.
Maybe I'm nitpicking, but me personally, I wasn't a fan of it. Especially with a guy like Julius, where, he's kind of not necessarily nice to the opposing team. The one guy you're going to be nice to is Jimmy Butler? Nah.
I know, man. I lost money because I said to my wife, man, after watching the game and IQ and everything. I went, oh, Knicks 100 again. He was going to be on, and he's going to be in his he's going to be in his glory. He's been saying for 86 games or 87, he's a bum. so he's going to be in his glory, and I don't see him in the show tonight. So he must be out celebrating.
He can't really do his victory lap because Grimes ain't really doing much better. You know, Grimes.
Yeah, but you can't do much on 3 shots, bro.
That is true. That would probably be his rebuttal as well. Not giving him an opportunity.
Yeah, 3 shots. That's what you call the first quarter.
All right, so let's hear now from Jalen Brunson. I'm going to put that on screen.
They finished the third quarter strong. Finished the second quarter strong. There are key moments in the game where we need to finish strong, be strong, and that starts with me. Today I was horrific. Just very uncharacteristic by me, and this one's on me, and I gotta be better, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think he's being a little hard on himself. I wouldn't say he was horrific.
He's a leader. That's what leaders do, and that's why I love him. He's my favorite player. With Josh being second, that's the Villanova boys. They learn their game well, whether it was from their parents and then their coaches, but that's what leaders do, man.
Yeah, definitely showing some leadership qualities. He's been showing it this entire season. So you look at what we signed him for, I think when you look at the production on court and also the leadership he's providing off the court, he's definitely underpaid. And I expect him to bounce back.
And it decreases next season.
Yeah. On a
He makes less money next season, folks. So it's the steal of the century.
Yes, sir. It was a heist.
I see our good friend Buzzer Beater stop by. Hi, hope all is well.
Buzzer,
I know we lost, but you're always a bright spot when we see you, Buzz Beater.
Yeah, Juan Sinclair says get Grimes more minutes. Facts. I'm shocked we didn't see him more in this game, especially if he's coming back and he's healthy. You know that one of our biggest weaknesses is us knocking down the 3 ball, and you would think that they would try to get Grimes as many shots as possible, so that way he can get into a rhythm, get back into the flow of things, and try to be that zone buster when the Heat try to throw that at us. But unfortunately, Tibbs didn't decide to go that route. Hopefully, one of the adjustments is to get Grimes a little bit more minutes out there, some more play times to get some more shots up.
I agree. Hopefully by Tuesday, his shoulder will be even better than it was today, and he could have more opportunities to put up more shots. Hey, he has a beautiful stroke from 3. So if that shoulder's not hurting, I think he's going to always be shooting at least a league average, hopefully.
Yep. You look at what CAA Mafia says. He says Brunson 0-7, Barrett 1 of 5, IQ 1 of 4 from 3. We're not winning no game shooting like this. Their 3-pointers keep them in game. And just to put the box score back on screen.
Today's NBA, you're 100% right, man.
Yep, live and die by the 3. I mean, even Grimes, Grimes was 1 of 3. RJ was 1 of 5. Josh Hart 0 of 4. It was just brutal from the 3-point line. Even Obi, who shot the best on the team from 3, he was 4 for 11.
Yeah.
So,
hey, just from a stat, in the Cleveland game as a team, game 1 of Cleveland, we shot 20.6%. Game 2, 31%. Game 2, 27.6%. Third game, 30.3%. Game 5, 24.1%. And we just shot, 21%? No, 20.6%.
yeah.
So we're shooting 26% for all of the postseason now.
From 3.
Ugh.
That's not going to cut it. If we really want to get into the Eastern Conference Finals, this team is going to have to step it up. And it's going to start with
at least one person, at least be, that's shooting with the lights out. And also you look around, Jamal Murray last night, and others, you're like, yo, we got some serious players like that. in this league, man, they're lighting it up, and we don't have anybody serious like that.
And the crazy part is we thought we did with the way they were performing in the second half. We thought IQ was starting to figure things out. Grimes, they went off, but I don't know. The shots have just dried up, and there's really no explanation other than them not looking confident. Well, more so Quick than Grimes. Grimes is just coming back.
Quick looks rattled, man.
Yeah, he looks shook.
He looks shook, and that bothers me. But it's one of the things about putting out contracts and foundational pieces and stuff. You see Brunson, you see, if you don't want somebody to get shook, and in these critical times, like we said, one thing is your shot not going in, then just show us that you're a dog in other ways. That freaking foul. I've said this before that, hey man, you're making $1 million as a team. If you make a foul on somebody shooting a three, a $5,000 to any of your charity, your favorite charity, you just can't foul guys, stupid fouls on guys making 3-point shots. So he hit Gabe Vincent in the head, and it's like, what are you doing?
Come on, bro. Terrible.
What are you doing? Come on.
Which game was it where Quick was playing poorly and Tibbs pretty much benched him for the entire second half? Was that game one?
I don't know.
I can't recall, but he's looked shook ever since that game.
He has.
Or it might have been game two. Let me see if I can pull it up. But ever since that game, he's been kind of tentative. Hasn't been aggressive, looking for his shot. I wonder if that benching has, planted a little seed or a little seed of doubt in the back of his mind.
Yeah, he
might have been game three. One of those games. Let me see.
Yeah. But come on, man.
And one of those games, he got the hook in the second half, really didn't play much. And ever since then, I think it's kind of been trending downwards for him. And before, the defense was something you could at least say, all right, he's playing solid defense. But in the game today, like you mentioned, him, that dumb foul, fouling a jump shooter, you can't do things like that.
Can't do things like that. Maybe you should have went to Villanova than Kentucky.
Let's see. Nick Yak quickly in OB 58 minutes, 1 assist. Yeah. I mean, Quick's not really dishing the ball as much as we saw in the regular season. And I guess, a big testament to that is him, like you said, Foxy, stopping his dribble, no longer keeping his head up, keeping his dribble, trying to find those nice passing lanes to feed his guys. I haven't seen a single pass. Remember that pass, that beautiful pocket pass to iHeart? I haven't seen a precise pass like that from Quick this entire postseason. He just doesn't look his normal self.
Yeah, and there's not an injury, so it's all like you said, being shook. So if you're not hurting, the only thing is that you're scared.
Yeah. We got a comment from David Smith. He says Tibbs outcoached by Spoelstra yet again in the playoffs. Well, we didn't really see enough adjustments, I don't think, from Tom Thibodeau in that second half. So I'll hold judgment on whether or not he's being outcoached by Spo based on what Tibbs comes out in game two and does. We saw what the Heat did in game one. Tibbs, he tried to go with that small ball, no Obi. He pretty much had RJ out there with Hart and Grimes initially, and then he swapped Grimes out for Quick. And then he also had Brunson out there as well. So that was the four he went alongside with either iHeart or Mitchell Robinson, and it really didn't work as we would have hoped. So game two, we'll see what Tibbs decides to do and what adjustments he'll make to kind of counter what Spo and the Heat have been doing.
Yeah, shout out to Juan Sinclair. I agree with you. Gabe Vincent can't get 20 points a game on us. He's basically negating the performance of Brunson. You can't do that.
Yeah, definitely have to tighten up the defense a little bit more on Vincent. I mean, we did decent on Strus, but Vincent...
He did.
He started the game off early. He started the game off knocking down he had the first 5 points, I think, for them to start the game, and then you know we felt like we did a little bit better job on him, and towards or heading into halftime, and then in the second half he started to knock down some more shots.
Yeah, but the thing that's not, Duncan Robinson is their best 3-point shooter and he had 0 points. And Max Strus only had 2 threes. What happens if they get hot?
Exactly. But this. Well, yeah. I was gonna say the same could be said about us, but we don't have guys that shoot us.
We're not in that league of shooters.
Yeah. But what I think the Knicks have to do a better job going at those guys though when they're out there on the court. If they do get hot, start knocking down the three, you just start to target them. Go at them defensively, make them work on defense, make them either commit fouls or force them to collapse the defense and continue to try to get some open shots at the three. The thing is, it all comes back down to these guys making their open shots. So as soon as the game ended, they should have all went to whatever practice facility they have and started putting up threes. I don't know if they're driving up to Westchester per se, but tell them leave the courts out there. I think the Rangers are playing over in Jersey, so they don't got to swap it out the ice. Keep the hoops up and just put up some 3-point shots and get ready for game 2.
I don't care if they go to Chelsea Pier. Just get your damn shooting.
Get your shots up. Let's see. Keith Turner says Grimes played in game 1 and 2. He didn't get hurt until game 3. His stats in them 2 games were god awful. Yeah, Grimes been disappointing. And the biggest strength, I think, the biggest weakness we talked about is our shooting or lack thereof. Our biggest strength is our depth. And our depth kind of goes out the window when those depth pieces aren't really playing to expectations. Guys like Quick, guys like Grimes. If those guys aren't, knocking down their shots, aren't being disruptive defensively, then really the depth goes out the window. You know what I mean? Because we need those guys to step up.
You can't have 5 rebounds in the first quarter and 3 for the next 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you want to replace Julius Randle.
Exactly. Guy that's a monster on the boards.
He's a monster on the boards. You just can't have 3 rebounds for the next 3 quarters, man. That kills us.
Juan Sinclair says, I think RJ was trying to draw foul calls and didn't get a few his way in the second half. Yeah, and that goes to my point where I mentioned, this was a game where we kind of let the refs get in our head. We were trying to draw fouls or whatever the case may be, or looking too much to draw a foul as opposed to getting fouled while putting up a good shot. And, if we continue to play like that and let the refs get into our heads, this could be a situation where, we end up getting swept. So we can't allow the refs to be too big of a factor in this game. If the calls aren't going our way, it is what it is. But continue to be aggressive. And when you do get fouled, to go to the line, knock down your shots.
And if you do get the fouls, you can't shoot 5 for 8. Come on, RJ. He's been shooting like 72%. And I've said this, from a talent of if you're a 2 and 3 in this league, you better have an 8 on your foul. You have to be it's called the shooting guard for a reason at the 2. And as a wing, you can't shoot 72% from the line. It's just, you got to be able to hit it, at least be league average, be around 78%.
I see somebody said Mitchell Robinson got hurt. Did he, I know he banged knees.
His hip. I saw him grimacing and holding his hip, and then I got it right here. Shout out to our guy, Fred Katz. He said, Mitchell Robinson acknowledged he's dealing with pain in his hip. How much is he banged up? Very.
Here we go. Pretty much a war of attrition at this point. Players are dropping like flies.
And put Hartenstein in there.
Yeah, that's one. But see, the what's terrible about Mitch being hurt at this point is the fact that we don't even have Sims.
We don't even have Sims.
Had
Sims
shoulder surgery.
Exactly, but as crazy as it sounds, Sims athletically, he's better against a Bam, a guy that's 6'9", 6'9". So he's not, you're not saying, oh shit, we got to put Sims up against a 7'2", whether a Mobley or a Jared Allen. They're just, they're too big for him. Bam's not too big for Sims. So, yeah, so it's a shame. And They said he'll be ready for training camp, but his labrum and his rotator cuff.
Yeah, those are big injuries.
Those are huge injuries.
I thought he just dislocated his shoulder or something, but nah, torn labrum. Yeesh.
Yeah.
And
I've seen
torn
players'
rotator cuff.
careers be impacted, but he won't be impacted on offense.
Well, they say he has a more versatile game.
Look who just dropped by.
Ooh.
Knicks 100 a game. Told you he's a bum. It's been 6 full games. And quickly, we were talking about you. I talked about you to my wife. Like, boy, Knicks 100 a game is going to be happy tonight. He's going to be stopping by.
Yep, we got a super chat from Jay. Thank you for tuning in. He says IQ is not an NBA starter, getting exposed. He's definitely played poorly
Third year.
this playoffs. I don't know. I won't say for sure that he's not an NBA starter, but he's not looking good this playoffs. He's really seemed like he's crumbling under the pressure. And, you know, that's
And
not
so
a good
is his
sign.
future contract.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
losing millions by the game.
By the game. His agent right now is probably stressing out.
Yeah, man. He started the season with hair, and now he's bald.
Also, I put on screen the tweet from Stephon Bondi, retweeted by Fred Katz. He definitely acknowledged that he's dealing with pain in his hip. How much is he banged up? He says, very. I was hoping that had my fingers crossed that there wasn't any issue with the knee, because I know he banged knees. I forgot who he banged knees.
I think it was Lowry. I thought you were very observant that, so he has that, but now I saw him grimacing and holding his hip. And he has, when he's hurt. Everybody knows when he's hurt. He labors getting up the court, lumbering and stuff like that. It's like, oh no, Mitch, again, he's laboring. Either, and this is not because he has terrible stamina. This is not where he's gassed. He's hurt again.
Yeah.
Did I say again? Oh man, where's him for when you need him?
Inf actually hit me up, man. Inf says he was giving Mitch his kudos.
From the last series.
From his performance in his last series, yeah. But like I said,
he was a monster.
He was a monster that series. It was a good matchup. This one is not as good of a matchup with Bam, who's a more versatile center, I think, offensively than someone like Jared Allen. He can at least step out, knock down perimeter shots, forces Mitchell Robinson to step out into a area that he's not exactly 100% comfortable in. And, so it also factors into him being a beast on the boards, because now he's further out. He's not able to park in a good position to try and secure, some of the rebounds.
Yeah, but I'm old school. Everybody knows that. It's like whether it's Bam, whether it's Jimmy Butler, go at him, get him in foul trouble. He only had one personal foul the whole game, Bam.
Yeah, they got to go after him more.
They got to go after these. They can't hurt you if they're on the bench.
Mm-hmm. And also getting back into RJ, we talked about what he did in the first half. What was he, 6 or 7 from the field? In the second half, I said he was kind of playing into the Heat's game and letting the refs get to him. He was 4 of 13 from the field. That's 30.8% from the field, and he had 3 turnovers. So
that's what happens when you dribble into a paint full of defenders.
Yep. So he had 3 turnovers, which is as many assists as he had in the second half. So definitely struggled. We need to see more of what he did in the first half, where he was able to, get matched up on weaker defenders, attack, and get into the paint with ease. And he also showed some mid-range versatility too. I think there was like a little mid-range
in the first quarter.
Yeah. It was nice to see.
Beautiful.
Definitely nice to see.
Just want to see it for 4 quarters. Hey, shout out to Kevin McLeod. Hope all is well with you and the family. He says, hey, my brothers, I'm pissed at IQ. If he's not going to give us production, we're not going to win this series. Facts. Shout out to our brother JD. He's been saying that Quickly hasn't been an X factor. So totally agree with you, Kev.
Yep. Quick is JD's X factor. And Grimes was my X factor, and both of them are stinking up the joint. We need one of them to perform. Just one. If we get one of them to kind of be Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson's sidekick, I think we had a pretty good chance of pulling this one out.
We had one of them just have a better game. We would have won the game again.
Yeah. But there's always game 2. We need to rebound, come back better, and try to out hustle the Heat. I felt like they had more of that dog mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the Cavs series, it felt like we were the ones that were out hustling them on all the 50-50 balls. We were the ones that were, stepping up in those high energy moments of the game. And it was the exact opposite, I think, in this one. The Heat had everything go their way, and, they out hustled us a lot. I feel like, not that we would run off the court or anything like that, but I felt like when there was a play where you had to give a little bit more effort, I think the Heat were winning in those scenarios.
Well, we've seen it, that when you play a team that's soft like Cleveland, then you get all confident. But you find out a lot about your team when you play another team that has dogs on it. And they bite back at you to see what your response is. So Jimmy Butler, you're messing with the wrong dude, and they should have known that. But Lowry's a dog. Gabe Vincent and stuff like that. And don't forget, folks, they're missing Tyler Hero and Oladipo and stuff. So we're not the only team that's hurting.
Yeah, they're missing some key players as well. That's why coming in, I thought, all right, if we can win game one, get Julius Randle back game two, I really don't have too many concerns about this series. But the fact that we were able to lose game one and, still not 100% sure what type of what version of Julius Randle will receive in game two, I think as a fan, as a Knicks fan, you got to be nervous. We lost home court now. The Heat have all the momentum, and we still haven't seen some of these, role players have breakout games or breakout moments even. If Quick...
Or just play normal.
Play normal, but even if Quick had like a quarter where you were like, okay, seems like Quick got it going in this game, maybe that's something he can build off of. He really hasn't had any of those moments this postseason so far.
I know. But if Quick, what was he from three? Other than that lucky
four,
one?
I think.
He was 1 for 4.
And 0-3 if you don't count the lucky one.
Yeah, exactly. So, come on, team. Hey,
fucking spider just came down out of nowhere. You die.
So I'm hoping that that Randle's back, it's braced up, and he can be functional at least, or as a decoy. But I don't know who else.
I think. Well, we saw he moved. He looked like he was comfortable on that ankle when we saw the highlights earlier in that game.
Yeah, but shooting and making hard cuts in a real game are, as you know, are two different things.
True. Well, match him up against Kevin Love. Won't be doing too many hard cuts.
Yeah. I laughed because when they showed the starting lineups and they showed Kevin Love, I said, shit, they took that picture from 5 years ago. There ain't a gray hair on his face, but yeah, he's an old pro,
I still can't believe Jimmy Butler did what he did to start the season with the extension. So now they got to use that photo for the entire year. Every time I see it, I start rolling, man. I'm like, bro, this guy's a top tier troll. Oh man. So Foxy,
his last 2 games though against Milwaukee.
Yeah, he went off. He went off.
That's a star level performance. To take a team on your back like that and beat the best. Then a lot of people were like saying Milwaukee's the one. Somebody forgot to tell Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Foxy, if you were the coach, what adjustments would you make heading into game 2? What would you try to do to try and beat some of the things that the Heat were throwing at us out there in that second half?
Kidnap Devin Booker and put a Grimes jersey on him. I don't know. Just like I said, we're 36-5 we held them under 110 points. If we, statistically we'll beat teams if we hold them under 110 points. So it's all on the guys to hit their shots and hit our foul shots, and like we said, just hit a few. If we hit 3 more threes in this game, we would have won the game. So the only thing is and I think Tibbs is right. That's this game. Just keep putting them up, and sooner or later they're going to drop. And as Knicks fans, we just hope they're going to drop soon. But if we play this same defense, holding them under 110 points, statistically, we're going to win most of the time.
Yeah, for me,
We're a better 3-point shooting team than we've shown over the first, 6 games of the playoffs.
slightly.
Well, we're better than 26%. Seriously, if we shot 30%, we would be a winner today.
Yep. True. Me, we got to stop allowing so many points off of turnovers. A lot of those turnovers were easy buckets for the Heat. And, at times the Heat find it difficult to put some points up. So we can't allow them to keep having those easy opportunities.
Those leak out,
in transition.
Hartenstein full court 60-foot passes for easy baskets.
Yeah, so we definitely have to cut those out. And we have to get back into doing what we do, which is scoring efficiently in the paint. And we have to knock down those open threes, because the Heat, they're going to give us the shots. They're going to give us opportunities to put that dagger in the heart. And it's going to be up to Grimes and Emmanuel Quickly, and at times R.J. Barrett, to knock down those quality looks. And, if we able to do that, we're going to win, I think, game 2 handedly. We just have to continue to play solid defense, continue to make life difficult for them, and knock down those threes when they give them to us, because they're going to be there. We're going to have quite a few open looks at 3, I believe, because that's the way that they're guarding us. They want us to try and shoot ourselves out the game. We just have to, step up and knock down shots that we know this team can make. We're not asking them to do anything crazy. We're not asking them to knock down 30-footers. Just knock down the easy corner 3, and we'll be in a good position to win.
When RJ hit that first 3, I was clapping like, beautiful. This is good. Oh no, that's the last 3 he's going to hit all game.
And then they're talking about, he's making all these adjustments. I'm like, damn, this guy's doing a lot of adjustments on the fly, I don't know if that's the best thing to be doing. It is what it is, But, I'll let the pros be the pros. If that's what he has to do to get his shot to start falling down, make those slight adjustments, those tweaks here and there. But, you got to make those tweaks, knock down the 3. Because if you start making those tweaks, because they're talking about his shooting pocket and blah, blah, blah. RJ hasn't gotten better because he's knocking down his outside shot. He got better because he's attacking the basket. So all these tweaks you're saying you're doing more detrimental to his perimeter shot than it is beneficial? Because to me, I don't know if you should be doing all these tweaks in the middle of the playoff series.
Yeah. But RJ, you do that they're not going to allow you to do that in the playoffs. What RJ is good at, that dries up in the playoffs. You get away with that shit during the regular season, especially against crummy teams. But they're going to just, especially, hey, we heard early in the season, Ja Morant mic'd up, just saying, go under, he's going left. Talking about RJ. So this league, you listen, it's not us, it's listen to the scouts, the people, drawing up the plays when they mic the sidelines. They want RJ to shoot. This league does not feel confident that RJ can hit an open shot.
Yep, when
he does, he's going strictly left. So you've heard Clyde talk about it for years now. Like, what's up with this league, man? Take away that dude's going left, and he's not the same player.
Yep. Also, Stanley Man says, in addition, RJ needs to take care of the ball better in crunch time. He had a critical 4th quarter turnover.
Yeah, I see a couple people talking about Derrick Rose. Yo, I love Derrick Rose. He's a Hall of Famer, but even in the garbage time where we gave him, it's over. It's over. So it's not there anymore, and I'd give that. I wouldn't think twice about those minutes to Deuce, but I think it's over for Derrick Rose, man.
Yeah. I think his time has come through. He may retire,
especially on defense.
Oh yeah, on defense he's a cone.
He can't do nothing on defense.
But then again, Evan Fournier is a cone, and people keep clamoring for him to get minutes. So you never know,
because he's a 3-point shooter, and we definitely. But hey,
Rose become a pretty good knockdown 3-point shooter in the last couple years. He's been shooting it right around 40%, right, or something like that.
He was, but not anymore. But to his defense, just like Grimes, it's very difficult to ask a guy to come off the bench cold when he hasn't played 400 years and then expect him to
400
shoot.
years.
Yeah, so so I'm with you. It's difficult.
Yeah, extremely. But I think what we need to do, there's things we can do to expect a better outcome next game. It's not like we went out there game one, they completely beat the brakes off of us, and we're sitting here trying to figure out what we can do just to be competitive. It was a competitive game, a little bit, some tweaks here and there will put us in position, I think, to win next game. So it's not necessarily something where I'm like completely demoralized, but I felt like we missed out on an opportunity. I know the guys that the team is saying they didn't miss out on an opportunity, but anytime you give up a home court, you missed out on an opportunity.
Yeah, huge opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So, huge opportunity.
Yeah. So, Foxy, I think we'll wrap it up there. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Just, hey, I don't mean this to sound weird, but I never expected us to be in the second round. So I'm ecstatic about this team in my eyes. The season that we had, this was a winnable game at home. It got away, but we saw a really bad game that scared the shit out of us in game 2 against Cleveland. So I think we'll come back strong. Butler's is a dog, so I don't expect him missing any time, even though he rolled that ankle. He'll just tape it up a touch more and just play the same defense. And statistically, like I said, if they score the next game 108 points and we could hit a couple more, we'll beat them. So let's get back Randle, hopefully. And if we don't get back Randle, let's just shoot. Come on, IQ. Come on, kid. You gotta show that that we can rely on you in the future. Grimes got to get that guy some more touches, and RJ, you got to show that you're not a first quarter guy. You're an all game guy. You got to show us that you were a third pick, that you are the man. Everyone was saying in that first quarter, Star J, Star J, Star J, and then you didn't finish that game as a star.
Yeah, definitely got to pick it up for RJ, especially if Randle's not able to play. I think he'll play, because I would view game 2 as a must-win for the Knicks. So if Randle can put any weight on that ankle, I'm pretty sure he'll play. Now, when it comes to the Heat and Jimmy Butler, maybe they rest Butler. They say, okay, we did what we needed to do. We got the game on the road. We stole home court. Maybe we rest Jimmy Butler for that game to see if he'll be healthy enough in game 3 and doesn't re-aggravate it. Or they go the other route and they play Butler in game 2 just to see if they can actually put us in the ditch and go up 2-0. Remains to be seen. Spo did
with Hero out, I don't know if they go that route. Who do they have left if Butler's not there?
Nah, slim pickings. That's pretty much throwing the game at that point. But it all depends on how Jimmy Butler feels, though, because if he shows up tomorrow and that ankle starts to balloon and it's looking like a grapefruit, because he didn't look too mobile out there. I was saying they should have attacked him a little bit more. He could barely save a out of bounds pass, not a pass, but I think the ball was going out of bounds and he didn't want to put pressure on the ankle, so he didn't jump out of bounds to try and save it. So to me personally, it felt like he looked pretty compromised. So the fact that they didn't try to attack him a little bit more defensively, I think that was definitely a missed opportunity. There was one play where Jimmy Butler was guarding RJ, and RJ actually tried to get the switch and get Lowry on him. And I'm like,
I know. It's like,
bro, go after Jimmy.
Ankle. Exactly. You, me,
and then he got stripped. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? That doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm just thinking positive. We win the next game, and whatever happens from this point on, I'm proud of the season we've had and something to build on, that's for sure.
Yep, facts. So thank you, Foxy. We'll be back again next Sunday. Chop it up. Hopefully, we'll be in a better position in the series.
Game Saturday, so we don't have any games Sunday. Hallelujah for a change.
Yeah, we would have had no games on Sunday if the Heat would have lost to the Bucks, but the Bucks couldn't get the job done.
Long in tooth.
Yeah. But Till next time, thank you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate the support. As always, I'm Keith, joined by my co-host Stephen Fox, and till next time.